Kapalkundala, 1866, written by Bankim Chandra Chatterjee, is a romantic and philosophical Bengali novel. It tells the story of Nabakumar, a young man who accidentally meets Kapalkundala, a mysterious girl raised in the forest by a Tantric ascetic called a Kapalik. The novel explores themes of love, innocence, civilization versus nature, and spiritual conflict. Here is a more detailed chapter wise explanation. Chapter 1. Nabakumar lost in the forest. The story begins with Nabakumar, a young traveler who joins a group of pilgrims traveling toward the sea for a sacred bath. During the journey, he becomes separated from the group in a dense forest near the seashore. As evening approaches, the forest becomes dark and frightening. Strange sounds and the loneliness of the wilderness create anxiety in him. This chapter establishes the mysterious atmosphere of the novel and prepares the reader for the strange events that will soon follow. Chapter 2. Discovery of the Temple. While wandering through the forest, Nabakumar comes across an isolated temple dedicated to Kali. The temple looks ancient. Nearby, he notices signs of unusual rituals and the presence of a strange ascetic. The setting suggests that the temple is connected with Tantric worship, which sometimes involve dangerous rituals. Nabakumar feels uneasy but decides to stay nearby because he has no other shelter for the night. Chapter 3. The Kapalik's plot. Nabakumar soon meets a Kapalik, a Tantric ascetic who worships the goddess Kali through extreme rituals. The Kapalik behaves kindly toward Nabakumar and offers him shelter. However, the Kapalik secretly intends to offer Nabakumar as a human sacrifice to Kali as a part of ritual. The reader now understands that Nabakumar is in serious danger, although he himself remains unaware. Chapter 4. Appearance of Kapalkundala. A mysterious young woman named Kapalkundala suddenly appears in the forest. She is extremely beautiful and innocent, but also unfamiliar with human society because she was raised in the forest by the Kapalik. Kapalkundala secretly tells Nabakumar that the Kapalik plans to sacrifice him. She feels sympathy for Nabakumar and decides to help him escape. Chapter 5. Escape from danger. Kapalkundala guides Nabakumar through the forest during the night. With her help, he successfully escapes from the Kapalik's temple before the sacrifice can occur. This chapter marks the beginning of the relationship. Nabakumar becomes deeply grateful to Kapalkundala for saving his life. Chapter 6. The Brahmin's Advice. After escaping, the two meet a wise Brahmin. The Brahmin realizes that Kapalkundala cannot safely remain in the forest. If she stays there, the Kapalik may capture her again. He advises Nabakumar to marry Kapalkundala and take her into civilized society. Nabakumar agrees because he admires her courage and kindness. Chapter 7. Marriage of Nabakumar and Kapalkundala. Nabakumar and Kapalkundala are married according to traditional Hindu customs. Kapalkundala leaves the forest and begins her journey into human world. However, she knows nothing about social customs, family life, or social etiquette. Her upbringing in the forest makes her pure and innocent but also inexperienced. Chapter 8. Kapalkundala in society. When Kapalkundala arrives at Nabakumar's home, she begins to experience difficulties adjusting to civilized life. Household rules, social behavior, and expectations confuse her. Despite her innocence and good heart, she struggles to understand how society functions. Chapter 9. Innocence and Misunderstanding. Kapalkundala's natural behavior sometimes appears strange to others because she grew up without social training. She speaks and acts freely. This causes misunderstandings and criticism from others. The contrast between natural innocence and social norms become a central theme in the novel. Chapter 10. Entry of Padmavati. A clever and mysterious woman named Padmavati enters the story. She once had a relationship with Nabakumar in the past and now reappears with hidden motives. Padmavati becomes jealous of Kapalkundala and begins manipulating situations. Chapter 11. Seeds of Suspicion. Padmavati gradually creates misunderstandings between Nabakumar and Kapalkundala. Through deception and clever manipulation, she causes Nabakumar to doubt his wife. Kapalkundala begins to feel emotionally isolated and confused. Chapter 12. Return of the Kapalik. Meanwhile, the Kapalik, furious that his human sacrifice escaped, begins searching for Kapalkundala. He believes she betrayed him and wants revenge. The Kapalik plans to capture her and complete his ritual. Chapter 13. Conspiracy. Padmavati secretly cooperates with the Kapalik. Together, they attempt to lure Kapalkundala away from her husband and trap her. This chapter builds tension as the danger surrounding Kapalkundala increases. Chapter 14. Kapalkundala's emotional struggle. Kapalkundala begins to feel that she does not belong in human society. She loves Nabakumar deeply but feels misunderstood and unhappy. Her innocence clashes with social expectations and manipulations around her. Chapter 15. The final trap. The Kapalik attempts to capture Kapalkundala again to perform the sacrificial ritual. The tension of the story reaches its highest point as the forces of revenge and deception close in on her. Chapter 16. The tragic end. Feeling betrayed, lonely, and unable to adapt to society, Kapalkundala chooses a tragic end. She throws herself into the river, sacrificing her own life. Her death symbolizes the tragic conflict between pure natural innocence and the complexities of human society. Important themes discussed in the novel. 1. Nature versus civilization. Kapalkundala represents natural innocence while society represents rules and restrictions. 2. Love and sacrifice. Her love for Nabakumar ultimately leads to self-sacrifice. 3. Religious mysticism. Tantric rituals and spiritual beliefs influence the plot. 4. Social adjustment. The novel questions whether someone raised outside society can truly adapt to it.